This is the Monster Legends channel, and today we're talking about poltergeists. First up, some background. The word poltergeist comes from German, literally meaning noisy ghost. Poltergeists are typically described as ghosts that make regular, often nightly appearances, moving objects, shaking beds, rattling windows, and generally making an annoying racket. They're also known to interact with people, sometimes violently. When it comes to their origin, they're usually tied to a particular home or location. Poltergeists have been around for centuries, first appearing in written records in the Middle Ages. These ghostly ghouls were widely reported throughout Europe and North America during the 19th century, with some cases even making headlines in major newspapers. But just what exactly causes poltergeist activity? While there's no definitive answer, paranormal investigators believe that these phenomena may be caused by a number of things, including unresolved negative energy in a particular location, the spirits of restless dead unable to move on to the afterlife due to unfinished business or trauma, electromagnetic fields, or even natural gas emanating from beneath the earth. So, if you think you might be living with a poltergeist, don't worry. You're not alone. Let's take a look at a few historical accounts of these creepy creatures. Let's start with one of the most famous cases involving a poltergeist, that of Helen Actton Vale. Born in England in 1936, Helen grew up hearing strange sounds in her family home, but she always assumed they were simply the sounds of an old house settling. That was until she moved into the home after her father died when she was 19. Shortly after moving in, Helen began experiencing strange events. Objects moved by themselves, doors slammed, lights flickered, and she even heard footsteps above her head. She also had terrifying nightmares almost every night. Eventually, she reached out to paranormal investigators, who documented over 700 unexplained events that took place over a period of 2 years. These included regular shaking of the bed, shaking of entire house, movement of objects, tapping and knocking sounds, disembodied voices, and even full-bodied apparitions. Unfortunately for Helen, the haunting didn't end there. She continued to experience strange activity long after the investigators left, eventually having to put the house up for sale and move away. But Helen wasn't the only one to experience a poltergeist haunting. Let's take a look at the Enfield Poltergeist case. It all started when residents of the small town of Enfield, London, began reporting strange activity in a home occupied by a single mother and her 4 children. Objects moved, beds shook, and the family dog would growl at seemingly nothing. Then the activity started to escalate. Books flew off shelves, ornaments smashed, and even walls were torn apart. As the hauntings grew more intense, local priests performed exorcisms, believing that the family's home was possessed by demons. Eventually, the case became well known throughout London and even made headlines in the national newspaper, The Times. But despite numerous investigations, the true source of the Enfield poltergeist remains a mystery to this day. One of the most famous books on the subject of poltergeists is The Ghost and Mrs. Mure by R.A. Dick. Published in 1945, this novel tells the story of Lucy Honoré, a young widow who moves into a seaside cottage only to discover that she's not alone. She soon begins to experience strange activity, including disembodied footsteps, moving objects, and even the feeling of being touched by an unseen presence. But as time goes on, Lucy starts to realize that the ghost haunting her cottage is not malevolent, but rather lonely and simply seeks companionship. With the help of a psychic, Lucy is able to communicate with the ghost, and eventually they form a close bond. The story was later adapted into a popular film starring Gene Tierney and Rex Harrison. Another great book on poltergeists is Ghost Hunters by Hans Holzer, published in 1975. This non-fiction work details Holzer's investigations into various haunted locations throughout the world, including the infamous Amityville Horror House. He shares his findings on the different types of ghosts that exist and the methods used to communicate with them, as well as offering advice on how to protect yourself from malevolent spirits. And let's not forget The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. a psychological horror novel about four individuals who spend a summer at a reportedly haunted mansion. As the group investigates Hill House, they encounter a variety of strange occurrences, including unexplained noises, moving objects, and unsettling presences. The story had been adapted twice into a movie, once in 1963 and again in 1999, and has also been adapted for both theater and radio, as well as a hit 2018 TV series on Netflix. And for fans of paranormal podcasts, we highly recommend checking out Lore, especially the episode titled The Ghost in the Machine. This episode explores the connection between ghosts and technology, examining cases where electronic devices have captured strange audio or video phenomena. One particularly compelling case involves a poltergeist haunting in Connecticut, where a family's home was investigated by paranormal researchers using state-of-the-art recording equipment. The results were startling, and the episode is full of suspense as the team tries to piece together what's really going on. Along with the movies and TV shows already mentioned, there is one movie that really stands out among them all. Poltergeist is a 1982 American supernatural horror film directed by Tobe Hooper and written by Steven Spielberg, Michael Grace, and Mark Victor. The film focuses on a suburban family whose home is invaded by malevolent ghosts that abduct their youngest daughter. The special effects for Poltergeist were produced by Industrial Light and Magic and overseen by Richard Edlund. The film won the BAFTA Award for Best Special Visual Effects and earned a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. The successful movie went on to spawn sequels, a remake, and was even converted into a scare house for Universal Studios' award-winning Halloween event, Halloween Horror Nights. For something a bit more modern, check out the 2016 film The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This film centers around a father and son who are coroners tasked with examining the body of a young woman who was found dead in a forest. As they conduct their investigation, they uncover strange clues that suggest she may have been the victim of a ritualistic murder, and they soon find themselves targeted by a malevolent force. Now let's take a look at a few real-life accounts of poltergeist activity. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall is perhaps the most famous ghost in England. Captured in a photograph taken in 1936, the image shows a transparent figure of a woman in 18th century dress, standing at the top of a staircase. The ghost is believed to be the spirit of Lady Dorothy Walpole, who died in 1747. Since then, visitors to the hall have reported seeing a variety of ghosts, including a headless coachman and the apparition of a small boy. But the Brown Lady isn't the only ghost to make regular appearances. The Wylarah ghost is said to haunt the village of Wylarah in Somerset, England. The ghost is believed to be the spirit of a young girl who died in the 19th century. She's often seen walking along the streets or sitting in doorways. Some people even claim to have heard her singing. That wraps up our list of the best books, movies, and real-life accounts of poltergeists. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and tell us about any poltergeist experiences you've had firsthand. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time on our channel.